Hello everybody, my name is Jacqueline. Uh, I'll be teaching psychology and today's topic is personality. So when a person says personality, in the last video which have been posted in YouTube, that one have clearly explained what is the meaning of personality and what's the definition and how do you assess personality, etc. So regarding these basic introduction regarding personality has been covered. So we'll move on to, I'll just brush up it. I'll revise the topic. Now we'll see what is the actual meaning of personality. The word personality has been derived from a Latin word persona. The word personality, it has been come from a Latin word which means persona. Persona, the word persona means mask. So according to Watson, it was derived. And then definition says this: personality is a dynamic and organized set of characteristics. It means dynamic. The word dynamic is change, or there is a process in it. Personality keeps changing and it has an improvement each and every day in your daily life, and it compromises of all the characteristics of a person. It includes a total quality such as emotional quality, thinking capacity, your motivation, your influence of the environment, etc. All this together forms a human's personality. The definition. Let's move on to types and theories of personality. Types and theories of personality are divided based on different authors. So there are types of personality, there are theories of personality, there are traits of personality, there are theory types. It's like permutation combination of all the types, theories and traits. So in early days, Hippocrates was the first person who described personality, or he explained personality. He was a Greek physician. Okay, he characterized people based on the elements such as bile, wind, mucus. In their language, he framed it as Pitta, Vata, and Kapha, and the prominency of personality. He jumbled up all this together to describe a human's personality. Recently, few psychologists, they explained personality in their own point of view while giving scientific reasons. What they did was they formulated into categories such as into two types, that is types theory and trait theory. Personality was divided into types theory and trait theory. Now we'll see what are the type theories. Type theories are divided into four categories according to the authors, such as Jung's classification, Kretschmer's classification, Sheldon's classification, and then Friedman's Rosnem classification. These are the four scientists who classified personality into type theory. Now we'll see one by one. According to Jung, that is Carl Jung, the name of scientist is Carl Jung. According to Carl Jung, he divided again personality into three characters, or three different personalities, that is called introvert, extrovert, ambivert. Three categories: introvert, extrovert, and ambivert. Introvert are people who are very shy, withdrawal, and they don't try to mingle with other people. They try to keep their personal life as personal itself. They don't like to share with any other people. So these are introverts. Extroverts are people who are very outgoing, such as they like to talk to other people, they like social, they easily get socialized with other people, they have they see the future in a very bright way, uh, they express themselves very openly, they try to make more friends, more circles. So these are extroverts. Ambivert people are very few people who are pure introverts or pure extroverts. They are not balanced. See, some introverts can be a mild extroverts, and some extroverts can mildly become introverts. But ambiverts are like very pure. It's like 100% introverts, or else they'll be 100% extroverts. Those kind of people are called as ambiverts. They majority people possess both the qualities. Like they will be introvert totally sometimes, or totally they'll be extrovert depending upon the situation. So these are called ambivert people. Next one is classification according to Kretschmer's. Kretschmer classification, what he says is people have been, personality has been divided into four categories: Pinnick type, asthenic type, athletic type, dysplastic type. These are the 4 types according to Kretschmer's. What is Pinnick type is, excuse me, Pinnick type people are people who are very short and round body. People who are short physically, those who are short and round body, this though trait will be usually extrovert. The people who are short and round, they are extrovert people, and they have capacity or they have prone to suffer mental disorders in future. And when it comes to asthenic type, it is also called as leptosomatic type. These kind of people are very slender, very slim body, those are thin. These kind of personality are introvert people. Introvert, I already explained what is introvert. So these people are introvert. They are more prone to get the mental disorders such as schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a psychiatric disorder. Okay. Next type of people are athletic people. Athletic people are those who are very much interested in gym, bodybuilding, or getting into like goons, or any bodybuilders, or those who are very energetic. These kind of people are strong enough, determined, adventurous, and they are ambivert. Like they can be totally introverts or they can be 100% extroverts. They are ambivert. So that the meaning of ambivert is they already explained. So they are more prone to suffer multi-dependency personality. So they have MDP problem. And persons such as dysplastic type, people who are going through dysplastic type, or the personality according to Kretschmer, dysplastic people are, these people have unproportionate body. They don't have proper body. They're not lean, they're not even fat, they're not even normal. So they have unproportionate. Their physical body is not proper, and they do not belong to any 3 type. Example, they're not even Pinnick, they're not even athletic, they're not even aesthetic. So these kind of people are disproportionate due to hormonal imbalance, and their behavior and the personality also imbalances. So depending upon the body type, proportionate, their behavior also will be imbalanced. So next one is according to Sheldon. According to Sheldon, it has been classified into 3 categories: endomorphic, ectomorphic, mesomorphic. Endomorphic are people who are fat. Mesomorphs are those who are having normal body, and the ectomorphs are very lean. According to Sheldon, endomorphs or endomorphic people are who are having abdominal region, their predominance of abdominal region, they're socially relaxed, they are sociable and relaxed kind of people. Example like Pinnick people. Ectomorphic are just like aesthetic people or else asthenic people. Ectomorphic people are those are like asthenic, which are lean and tall. When it comes to mesomorphic people, they are very noisy, adventurous, those are bodybuilt, just like athletic type. Mesomorphs are nothing but athletic type of personality. Next one will move on to fragments and Roseman's classification. What it is, they divided personality into type A and type B. Type A people are very rude, ambitious, rigid, highly state conscious, sensitive, impatient, proactive. These are the personalities type A people are having. Type B people are writer, therapist, counselors, actors, those whose emotional can be controlled, they are balanced, they are achievers, they are steady in their work. These kind of people are type B. Next we'll move on to trait theory. Till now what all I explained was regarding the type theories. Now we are talking regarding trait theories. Trait theories are also called as dispositional theories. This explains regarding human personality, primarily interested in measurement of how the habits, pattern of behavior, thoughts and emotions. Trait theory mainly explains regarding thought, emotion, habits, behavior, etc. So again, trait theory was explained by 3 scientists called as Allport trait theory, and then next Cattell's trait theory, and then developmental theory. Now we'll see what Allport says. Allport theory, what he says is personality is influenced or an individual's unique characteristics. It is internal cognitive and motivational process. It is not just person's one quality. It includes his thought, behavior, as well as how the person is motivated. Like for example, you can see how his intellectual power works, how his temperament balances, what are his habits, skills, attitudes, are a trait of person. So this is according to Albert. According to Cattell's trait theory, what he says is Cattell described personality into 16 factors. He explained a person's or a human's personality has 16 different factors according to Cattell's trait. This is a very famous theory and it is important as well. So according to Cattell's trait, he explained 16 as first one, abstractedness. Abstractedness means imaginative and being practical. Okay, the person can be whether imaginative or the person will be practical. Imaginative personality and practical personality are totally two different kind of personality. In a person you can either see imaginative personality or you can see being practical. So this kind of category is called as abstractedness. And the next one is apprehension. The word apprehension here, what it explains is the person has personality in two different ways. That is, the person will be worried or the person will be either confident. These two different words, they are totally opposite, worried and confident. The next one is dominance. The people can be forceful or subversive. A person's or a human's personality will be explained in two ways. That is, the person will be either forceful or you can say dominant. Now, the dominant people will be more giving order. They'll not take order, they'll give order to the other person. Or the people who are submissive, they try to submit themselves or they work under the dominance people. So these are the another type. And the next one is emotional stability. Some people will be calm and some will be high. That is, they're emotional. Some people, they will not express their feelings, and some people are there who are very much expressive. So these are two different kinds of personality. And next one is liveliness. Liveliness is some people are the personality. Some personalities are spontaneous enough, and some personalities are restrained. Restrained is they will restrict themselves by being enthusiastic or they're not energetic. They're very lethargic. And the next one is openness to change. When you're talking about openness to change, it has two different personalities such as flexible or attached to the familiar stuffs. It means that flexible are they are very much easy, mingle, or they adjust to the other situations. Those are flexible people. That is called flexible personality. And the opposite of flexible is those are very familiar, they does not get adjusted with any kind of stuff. They want to be reserved, introvert. Those kind of people are opposite to the flexible personality. Next one is perfectionism. Under perfectionism, there are two different categories, that is controlled versus undisciplined. So controlled personality are people who try to control themselves. They does not express very much to the outward people. And people who are undisciplined, they are very much outward. They does not think how the other people think, or they are not well mannered enough. When it comes to control, they are very mannered or disciplined. So these are two different personality when it comes to personality according to Cattell's trait. So according to Sigmund Freud, he explained developmental theories such as human behavior or personality has been developed or improved according to a topic called as three categories. One is structure of mind, and then level of mind, and psychosexual stages. These three categories Sigmund Freud explained in psychoanalytical theory. In the psychoanalytical theory explained by Sigmund Freud, that human's personality has been structurized in structure of mind, which consists of id, ego and superego, and then level of mind, which has preconscious, subconscious and unconscious, and then psychosexual stages such as oral stage, anal stage, phallic stage, latency stage, and then genital stage. So these are the stages, or these are the topics which comes under psychoanalytical theory according to Sigmund Freud. This topic, which has been clearly explained in your syllabus, that is second chapter, structure of mind. In that chapter, Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytical theory has been clearly explained. Okay, and the next kind of personality developmental theory, that is Adler's personality theory. This was created by Alfred Adler. According to him, individual psychology, because he believed that people were unique, that no theory created to be applied to all the people. Like other people, other theories, other psychologists, what they did was they categorized people into groups. Like some were pinic, some were aesthetic, some were endomorphic, mesomorphic, etc. But what Adler says is every persons are different. Like we say, one person is not the same as the other person. Everybody are unique. Everybody are different from each other. Their behavior differs. Their look wise differs. Everything differs. So when people are unique, we cannot compare or categorize their personality in certain groups. So according to Adler, everybody are unique. They cannot be applied into certain categories. So that is Adler. Next one is Carl Roger. Carl Roger, what he did was he explained developmental theory such as in a theory called as Maslow's hierarchy. Okay, Carl Roger agreed to Abraham Maslow, who explained Maslow's hierarchy. In Maslow's hierarchy, what was it was explained as he explained humans' basic needs. Personality is formed by humans' basic need such as love, affection, security, mutual understanding, companionship, self esteem, self respect, self actualization. These are the points where humans' basic needs will be fulfilled, and then a personality has been formed according to Abraham Maslow in his theory called as humanistic theory. So this was agreed by the Carl Rogers. So he also explained the same depending upon the developmental theory. The next developmental theory is theories of learning or learning theories. Learning theories again has been explained into four categories, that is trial and error theory, classical conditioning theory, operant conditional theory, or it is also called as operational conditioning theory. The last one is insight theory. So this topic actually has explained in the chapter called as learning theories. There is a different chapter in which we have been explained learning theories. Okay, in that one we have explained trial and error theory. In trial and error theory, the scientist what he did was he put a hungry cat in a box and he gave that cat food. Okay, the food was not directly provided. The food was kept outside the box. So cat was inside the box and the food was outside the box. So cat tried many times to open the latch. Okay, there was a door kind of latch. If the cat manipulated that latch and it got the food. So it tried many times. So trial and error means the cat tried many times, it failed many times, and finally he found out the way to open the door and eat the food. Next time when the food was given, the cat immediately opened because he got to know how to open the door. So trying again and again, you learn. That is how you develop. That is what trial and error theory means. The next one is classical conditioning theory. Classical conditioning theory, what they did was, the scientist, he put a hungry dog in a cage, and then he kept a food. First time, the scientist did not ring the bell. Okay, the first time when he started the experiment, he called the dog by the name and he gave the food. When the dog had the food. Next time what he did, he put a hungry dog whole night. The night he did not give any food. So the next day the dog was very hungry. Next time he rang the bell and he gave the food. Like the bell ringing, he used one bell and he rang the bell, dog came. After the bell rung, the food was given to the dog. So the dog understood that after ringing the bell, the dog will get food. So it used to salivate and then he used to eat the food. Next time, this repeated 2-3 times, and the next day, one final day, what he did, he rang the bell, the dog came, but food was not given. But what happened was salivation was there, though there was no food, but dog was salivating. So usually what happens is when there is food, that time only dog salivates, but this time because of the ringing of bell, the dog started salivating. So dog had habit. So the ringing of bell became a habit for the dog, and so because of the sound, the dog start to salivate. So this is conditioning. You are doing one particular condition. What is the condition here? Ringing the bell. So bell became one condition to the dog, and this theory is called as classical conditioning theory. The next theory is operational conditioning theory or operant conditioning theory. This theory was experimented on a rat. So what the scientist did was he put one hungry rat in a box, and there was a pallet of food. Food which is in a round shape. This pellet of food was placed. Okay, it was not directly given. There was one machine called as lever machine. The lever machine it has to be operated. Any kind of lever machine, when we say, it needs to be operated. Like you have to do some manipulation, and then only that lever machine will work. When the rat manipulated, then only the rat got the food. Okay, so yeah, in this case, what the condition is, operation, or the rat is manipulating or operating on the lever machine, then only the rat got the food. So every time the rat, first attempt, second attempt, fewer attempts, the rat did not understand how to manipulate that lever machine. When he tried again and again, he got the food. Finally, he got to know how to operate the lever machine. So in this theory, what it explains, the moral what it says is, we made one operational condition. There was a condition for the rat, and then the food was given. So putting a condition, people learn according to that. The next one is insight theory. Insight theory was explained by a scientist called Kohler. Kohler explained insight learning theory. He experimented on chimpanzee. A chimpanzee whose name was Sultan. He experimented this insight theory on him. What he did was, again like other theories, he made this chimpanzee to starve overnight. Okay, and the next day what he did, he put that banana, not just one single banana, a bunch of banana on the rooftop. Not on the rooftop, it is just he hung the banana on the roof, and he kept one box in the cage. So what the chimpanzee did was, he first he tried to reach the banana, he couldn't reach, it was high. Next time what he did was, the chimpanzee took the box and he climbed on the box and then reached the banana. So he got the banana. So this is first theory. In the second theory, what he did was, the second day or the second experiment, he again did the same thing, that he did not give food in the night. The chimpanzee was hunger or left out overnight without giving any food. The next day he kept two boxes in that cage and hung the banana little upper. So first the chimpanzee remembered the last experiment. So keeping one box, he can reach the banana. So he did that, but the banana was still higher than the previous. So he used another box to keep on top of the first box, and then he reached the banana. So previous experiment had learned experience. What it means is, from the previous experiment, the chimpanzee has already learned through experience. So it utilized in the second experiment. In the third experiment, what it did was, the scientist, he gave two boxes or two sticks, not boxes, two sticks. One stick was hollow, one stick was full, strong. So he put two sticks, hollow and strong one, inside the cage, and he hung the banana on the roof, on top of the hanger. And the chimpanzee was thinking, there is no box at all, then how to reach the banana? So it used his brain. He started to think by himself, and he tried to use that stick. He put a thick stick into the hollow stick. He made a long stick and started to beat the banana, and banana fell down from the hung, where it was hung. So what this experiment give moral is, through experience, people learn by themselves through the past experience, which can be utilized in different situations. So this is called insight learning theory. Okay, so these are the theories of. So here we finished the theories, types, traits of personality. Hope you all understood this topic. If you have any doubt, you can directly contact me. Thank you.